Welcome to my channel. So the whole world has been shocked with the so-called attempted coup in Russia by Wagner military rebels yesterday. So it happened so fast that most people began to watch it or to catch up when the event was almost ending. It was so fast that even the world media were shocked. So this attempted coup has brought serious mixed reactions with many theories, and I also have my own theory as a skeptical. But the biggest remark today is on by the US congresswoman, the controversial Republican congresswoman called Marjory Greene, who says that this attempted coup was actually sponsored by US. So Marjory Greene, she's very controversial, and she makes very controversial statements, and she says that this attempted coup by Wagner was sponsored by US. That is, like US, maybe they paid the Wagner guys to try and overthrow the Russian government. And even Trump has kind of weighed in this issue. So Trump has not come out directly to accuse US, but it's like he's saying that maybe the Western countries, they may be happy to see Russia overthrown. So it's like these two, they are speaking the same language. But specifically Marjory Greene, she said clearly that the US is most likely responsible for the attempted coup of Russian government. So that's one of the theories, which is very controversial. But I know in the coming days, the truth will come out. It is not difficult for anyone to believe that the US is capable of doing that, because currently, this Russia-Ukraine war, of course the US is on the side of Ukraine, and the US does not like Putin. So it is possible. This congresswoman may be right. It is possible that she's right, but we'll see as time goes by, because truth never stays hidden forever. So that's one of the theory, that the US is involved, and maybe even NATO and other Western nations which are supporting Ukraine. Because even Ukraine and Zelensky, when this coup was going on, Zelensky was very excited, supporting these Wagner guys. But later in the evening, it emerged that there was a telegram negotiation between the Kremlin, Putin's side, the government, and Wagner. And then before nightfall, the coup was ended. It's like the government had agreed with the Wagner guys that they should go through Belarus, and then the Wagner chief ordered his military guys to go back to their base, and the coup ended. So it was all like a movie. So I know there are many theories that maybe NATO was involved, or US, like Taylor Greene is saying. Also, there's a theory that the Wagner guys have felt aggrieved. That is, like Russian soldiers attacked Wagner soldiers and killed some. So maybe the Wagner guys were angry with Russia, among other issues. But there are also other theories. Now this one that I somehow believe. The one I believe is that this so-called coup was most likely a chess game or a drill by Putin and these Wagner guys. Maybe they had not even disagreed, or they disagreed but they resolved it. And then maybe they had agreed, Putin and the Wagner guys, to have like a drill, a false flag, a fake coup, a drill whereby it will mislead the West, it will expose the Western media propaganda. Like yesterday during this coup event, Western media were awash with the stories of how Putin is being overthrown, Russia is falling, Moscow will be overtaken. So it's like the Western media fell into Putin's trap. Also, this kind of drill or false flag could have been used by Putin as a chess game to expose the non-loyalists. in the Russian defense system. So here's a picture of Putin and the Russian defense chief having some fishing time. So one of the possible ways of, like when a country is undergoing serious war or crisis like Russia, the best way of exposing non-loyalists is to have something like a coup, to see which side people will go to show people's true colors. So yesterday, I'm sure those who thought that Russia was falling, the Russian defense chiefs who believed that Wagner was overtaking Russia, I know they must have shown their true colors. So yesterday's event could have been used by Putin to expose these non-loyalists, to make them show their true colors. So those who began to celebrate, to congratulate the Wagner chief or to help them with logistics, they exposed themselves. That's why when this coup ended, I read somewhere that now Russia, the government, they are starting investigation and to weed out the non-loyalists in the Russian defense structure. So that's one of the purpose of this kind of drills. So in my view, that's why I believe that this idea that this coup was most likely a drill held by Putin and Wagner guys, it had that purpose to expose the non-loyalists in the Russia structure, military structure, because they can't go on with this Ukraine war when they have non-loyalists who are feeding NATO with sensitive Russian information. The best way is to weed them out through a fake coup, a false flag. Now, such kind of false flags or fake coups are not new. Like even in Kenya, there's a intelligence that the Kenyan attempted coup of 82 was maybe a fake coup, whereby some of those who were involved, some government guys were involved, they organized it, and then some aircraft guys fell in that trap. But it was meant to make Moi to remove people like Njonjo and his cronies from the government, so that Moi can now take over and become a full dictator. So these things normally happen, not just in Kenya, but even worldwide. So maybe this is the technique that Putin used yesterday, because let's ask ourselves, where Moscow is located, it's only a fool who can try to conquer Russia without even a jet, without even fighter jets. Because these Wagner chiefs, they were using mostly tanks. How can someone conquer Russia, which is a military power, superpower? How can you conquer them with tanks? And then another question, why didn't Moscow respond with their fighter jets to hit those tanks of Wagner which were approaching towards Moscow? Because it all looked very fake. Because even a small country like Kenya, if let's say Uganda is trying to attack Nairobi, when the Uganda tanks, let's say Uganda are not using their jets, they're just using tanks, like now Wagner was using yesterday. So if let's say Uganda tanks are coming to Nairobi, when they have reached Kisumu or even Eldoret, the Kenyan Defense Force will send fighter jets from Nairobi here to go and attack those tanks. So the question is, why didn't Russia send their jets or even missiles to take out those tanks of Wagner? That's why there's a suspicion here. From a skeptical point of view, this may have been a false flag between Putin and the Wagner guys. And then also, funny enough, that they had a telegram negotiation. So anybody who wants to conquer Russia or even a major country like this one does not stop halfway to negotiate. Because before you start doing this, you must have planned for months, gathered enough resources, so nobody and nothing can stop you. But now all of a sudden, they just stopped at Rostov there, and then by evening there was a telegram negotiation, and then after about half an hour of negotiation, the Wagner guy called off the coup, and the tanks again made a about turn and returned to their bases, just like in the movies. So in my skeptical mind, I don't believe such kind of nonsense. This was all a drill, a chess drill by Putin So I know in the coming weeks, they'll sack some top officials in the military who betrayed their sides. They show their true colors, that they are not loyal to Russia and to Putin. That's my view. Now, another reason why this looked like a drill or a false flag, the Kenyan Foreign Minister, Dr. Alfred Mutua, at about midday yesterday, Dr. Mutua tweeted on tweet that he had spoken with the Russian Foreign Minister about that coup and the mercenary group. So so the Russian Foreign Minister Lavrov updated him that the issue is nothing serious, and the Russian government is in control and everything will be fine. So imagine that. So this shows that this he does nothing serious here. There's nothing serious. It was all a drill, internal drill, to weed out those non-loyalists within the Russian military system. So that's Alfred Mutua, the Kenyan Foreign Minister. And then there's a tweet by Dr. Mutua that he spoke with Lavrov yesterday, at about midday. So at about in the evening, after that telegram negotiation, Wagner guys and the Wagner chief, I can't pronounce his name is very difficult. He left after agreeing with Putin. So he went to Belarus and he ordered his guys, his militia, to go back to their bases. And that was the end of the attempted coup. So just like the movies. Just like the movies. So normally people who do such kind of coup, either they are part, it's a false flag, or sometimes, so because trying a coup can lead to someone being killed. It's something very serious. So this, to me, it looks just like a drill. And I think Putin achieved his objective. It embarrassed the Western media, like in CNN, BBC, etc., because they also showed their biasness. They were now analyzing how Putin will fall, Moscow will fall. Within about 12 hours, Wagner will reach Moscow, which is not very possible. Because you ask yourself, how can these guys with their tanks, this Wagner, be targeting to reach Moscow, yet Moscow has got fighter jets and missiles which can take them out? So all these things are not being factored in. So we are not 1945 or 1930s, the Second World War, whereby Hitler or Napoleon could invade Russia like that. No. These modern cities have missile defense systems, they have fighter jets, they have remote control drones with missiles which can take out tanks. So this was all like a drill. So I hope you have seen my point. So there are many theories. Maybe I'm also wrong. Maybe US was involved. Maybe Wagner guys were trying to intimidate Putin also, to sort out their differences with the Russian government. But my theory is that this was a personal drill by Putin and Wagner guys. So that's my story for today. I don't know what you think. Let me see your comments in the comment section. Otherwise, thank you very much.